Hey everyone, this is David Brown with the migration update for March 16th, 2022 from the Braddock Bay Hawk Watch. It was foggy the entire morning with light winds that were coming off the lake and felt a bit chilly. When I first saw this goose on the water, I assumed it would be the snow goose cross Canada goose hybrid that has been seen recently, but actually it turned out just to be a dark morph snow goose, also called a blue goose. There continues to be a huge number of waterfowl on the bay. Here we have a pair of ring-necked ducks. We ended up with quite the gathering of people out at the end of the boardwalk picking through the ducks, and the only early raptor that we had was this Merlin that came through low over the marsh. This bald eagle is not quite a full adult yet. We still see some black in the tail feathers, and I don't know what it was doing. A couple times it made abrupt turns while it was in flight, but it didn't seem to be carrying anything, and there were no birds around it. We also had these two adult bald eagles fly out over the bay, and these are probably the adults from the local nest. I was chatting with former Braddock Bay counter Greg Lawrence while we were standing near our cars, and without binoculars, he said, "Hey, does that gull have white wingtips?" And I looked up, and sure enough, it was a Glaucous Gull. And the northern Shrike is still around, although today we only got distant looks at it. I have a friend who lives in Winnipeg, Canada, and she's always telling me about Tim Hortons, and if they mess up her order, they give her Timbits for free to apologize, and I never have any idea what she's talking about. Well, today someone showed up with some Timbits, so now I've tried them myself. Finally, around 12:30, 1 o'clock, the fog was burning off, and we started to see some raptors. Here we have an adult red-tailed hawk. Let's look at those famous field marks again. Dark patagial bars, belly band, and it's an adult, so it has a dark trailing edge to the wing, and a red tail, although in the lighting conditions, it doesn't show very much color. Here we have a northern harrier flying through the fog, and we can even confirm that it is an adult female because of the streaking on the upper breast. This adult red-shouldered hawk gave us a nice view, so it gives us a chance to review some of the field marks. First of all, the coloration on the underside. We can see it has that orange coloration, typical of adults. The tail pattern is very distinctive. Remember, it's like lines on a chalkboard. The underside of the wing also has a lot of patterning. And near the wingtips, we see these pale crescents or translucent crescents. One more thing I'd like to point out, and this will become more important once we start seeing broad-winged hawks as well, is if you count how many feathers make up the wingtip, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the same on the other wing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives the red-shouldered hawk a more blunt or square-looking wingtip. And that will contrast with the broad-winged hawk, whose wingtip is only made up of 4 feathers, and so it looks a little pointier. Here we have another northern harrier, and just remember this shape. They're super lanky, long tail, long skinny wings that usually look a bit pointed. And this is another adult female because we can see the streaking on the upper breast, as well as more markings in the front portion of the wing. Once the fog burned off, it really turned into a nice day with blue skies, but unfortunately it only lasted for a short time. Here we have a male American Kestrel. The most distinctive thing about males is the orange tail. Females do not show that. And males are also very plain on the underside of the body. And the head pattern is distinctive for kestrels. And remember, kestrels are falcons, so they have very pointy wings. Here we have an adult Cooper's hawk. So we know it's an accipiter because it looks like a flying cross. Very long tail, very long wings. We know it's a Cooper's hawk because it has a big head, And the outer tail feathers are a little shorter than the central tail feathers. Although, again, I mentioned this the other day, when the tail is completely folded, these shorter outer tail feathers tuck directly underneath the longer feathers, so it does not give the tail that more rounded appearance. So be careful when the tail is completely closed, because then the shape of the tip is not a useful field mark. And we know this is an adult because it has this orange barring on the underside. These two Sandhill Cranes were a nice highlight, and they passed fairly close in good lighting, so I think everyone on the platform was thrilled to see these. And remember, Sandhill Cranes hold their necks out straight when they fly. So you have a straight neck, you also have straight legs sticking out behind. Here we have another adult red-tailed hawk. They just look bigger and bulkier than the other Buteos we see. And again, we see the dark patagial bars, the belly band, and for the adult, the dark trailing edge to the wings and the red tail. Here we have a great blue heron, and think about the difference in the way this bird is flying versus the way the Sandhill Cranes were flying. The Sandhill Cranes had their necks out straight when they were flying. Great blue herons curve their neck into an S shape. Here we have a soaring adult red-tailed hawk. Again, dark patagial bars, belly band, and for the adults, dark trailing edge to the wing and red tail. After being nice and sunny for about an hour and a half, the fog rolled back in off of the lake, and you couldn't even practically see the bay from the platform, so I knew the hawk flight was over, and I was planning to go home, but I said, let me just drive inland a little bit and see if it's possibly clear over at Frisbee Hill Park, our alternate counting site, which it was. And this is taken from the viewing position at Frisbee Hill, looking back towards the lake, and you can see that fog. And I was glad to make the trip because actually not too long after I got there, I had a group of 29 turkey vultures migrate by. But then after that, the fog started to roll in and the flight was done. If we take a look at eBird, we had 50 species today from the Hawk Watch platform. And over at Frisbee Hill, I had 23 species. If we look at our migrating raptor totals on HawkCount, today we had 60 turkey vultures, 2 northern harriers, 1 Cooper's hawk, 3 red-shouldered hawks, 8 red-tailed hawks, 1 Kestrel, 1 Merlin, for a total of 76 migrants today. The new species for the season were eastern bluebird and dark-eyed junco, both of which I picked up over at Frisbee Hill Park. If we take a look at the forecast, I'm excited for tomorrow because the conditions are looking really good with mostly sunny skies, high up around 60, light southwest winds. So the southerly winds overnight should bring in some non-raptor migrants, so the morning songbird flight could be decent. And then hopefully we get a decent raptor flight in the morning. The only real concern is that the winds are going to be so light, it will probably switch to a lake breeze at some point. And when that happens, we may lose the flight from the platform, and we'll probably end up moving over to Frisbee Hill Park to try to catch the flight over there. Friday is looking warm again, but chance of a rain shower, kind of light northerly winds, so might have a little bit of a flight, but won't be a spectacular day. And Saturday is looking rainy, so if that forecast holds, it probably won't be very good, and the count might even be canceled for the day. Alright, that's it for today. Tomorrow's looking decent, so I hope to see a lot of you out at the platform. If you liked this video, please hit the like button, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of these daily updates. And leave me a comment and tell me what your favorite bird from today was. This is David Brown. Thanks for watching.